In this video, we'll be taking apart the Unihertz GoldenEye. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe and follow me on Twitter so you'll be notified once I upload a new video. And if you need any tools, there are links in the description. First, we'll need to remove the SIM tray. Here's a better look at that. There are 3 T5 or Torx 5 screws on either side of the phone, which need to be removed. There are 5 more Phillips screws on each side, which need to be removed. The 4 screw covers on the back housing have to be removed. There are 4 more Phillips screws holding down the back cover. Here's a better look at the plastic back housing. The camera lens covers can be replaced by applying heat and prying them off. Looking at the other side, we can see the flex cable which leads to the NFC antenna, as well as a rubber gasket and mesh filter over the speaker opening. And there's a rubber gasket which runs around the back cover. This large camping or torchlight needs to be carefully peeled off. "11 Phillips screws have to be removed. There are numerous antenna lines drawn on this top plastic cover, which are the light gray color lines. There's a secondary microphone on this flex cable, as well as the dual LED flash. The battery cable can now be disconnected, followed by the rest of the flex cables. There are 3 coaxial cables on the bottom right side of the board, which need to be disconnected by popping them off. There are 2 Phillips screws which are holding down the main board. Taking a look at the main board, there's a liquid damage indicator sticker on the top, a 64 megapixel primary camera, and a 2 megapixel macro lens. None of the cameras have OIS or optical image stabilization. The camera connectors can be disconnected by just popping them off, and there's graphite film and copper tape over the front shields to help transfer heat. Here's a better look with a removable shield on the front taken off. The SIM reader is located on the other side, as well as a 32 megapixel front-facing camera. The proximity sensor is located on top, as well as the infrared or IR blaster. There's more graphite film and copper tape on the back shields, and some thermal paste. Once the graphite film and copper tape are peeled back, we can see thermal pads on top of the RAM, processor, and this chip over here. Here's a better look with the thermal pads removed. Here's a look at the speaker assembly. The primary microphone is located here, and the vibrator motor is located here. There are also some antenna lines drawn on the speaker assembly. This flex cable connects the main board to the subboard. To remove the battery, there's a transparent adhesive pouch to help you pry it off. Here's a better look at the 5200 mAh battery. Once the battery is removed, we can see the flex cable for the screen, which is routed through an opening in the midframe. So if you need to replace the screen, you'd have to remove the back cover, and then the screws in the top plastic cover. You then have to disconnect the battery cable, the screen cable, and the flex cable connecting the main board to the subboard, and then pry the battery off, giving you access to the screen cable, at which point you can heat up the front of the phone where the screen is to loosen up the adhesive underneath. Pry the old screen off, apply new adhesive, reapply the new screen, making sure you run this flex cable back through the opening in the mid-frame, and reassemble the phone. The charger port is located on this subboard, and this subboard is held onto the mid-frame with some adhesive, so if you need to replace that, you have to just gently pry it off. We can also see this copper heat pipe which runs underneath the motherboard and the side of the phone. The earpiece speaker is held in place with a cure-in-place gasket. The flex cable for the fingerprint reader is routed through an opening on the side of this frame, and the same goes for the flex cable for the power button clicker and volume keys. This flex cable is for the buttons on this side. For the repairability score, I give this phone a 5.5 out of 10. Now it's time to reassemble the phone. Once everything's back in place, power it on and you're done. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one.